Hey everyone, Sergeant Mushroom 92 here again. First of all, I'd really like to apologise for the lack of content on the channel the last wee while. It's been over a week since I uploaded my last video, and that is because I am having a bit of a World of Tanks slump. Obviously, I've only put up World of Tanks content so far. Obviously, that's now changed with this video. So another game that I do love to play is War Thunder, which obviously is a much more realistic, sort of different approach to a tank / combined arms game. So the last week I've been trying to play World of Tanks and it's just not happening. I end up forcing myself and I get frustrated after 1 or 2 games. So I've just been playing this instead. Now it is really unfortunate because it means that I'm missing out in the British Challenge, but whatever. I'll still buy the Carnarvon Action 10 and I'll get a sort of first impressions video out on that soon. But anyway, over the last week I've been playing a lot, as I said, and I've finally unlocked the Warrior, the British rank 6 battle rating 8.0 light tank. Now it's not really a light tank, it's an armor personnel carrier. You can see at the back here, the doors where the people go. But you don't get people in, you don't get soldiers in War Thunder, so it's a light tank. So, the Warrior. What's good about it? Well, in a short answer, it's this. The Milan anti-tank guided missile. You get 8 of them fired from this one tube. And by default, the Milan Mark 1 has 580mm of penetration at any ranges, because it's a high explosive anti-tank type missile. So yeah, pretty effective. It's basically going to penetrate through anything you'll meet at this sort of tier, with the exception of some of the composite armoured MBTs up at 9.0. You can upgrade it eventually with the Milan 2, which will give you up to 730, which is definitely going to penetrate any vehicle that this tank can see up to 9.0. Now, as you can see, this is going to be a bit of a first impressions video because I've got it pretty much mostly stock. I used Golden Eagles to buy the parts because I hate playing without parts, and that was it. I'm going to grind through this whole thing, and we'll come back with a like a chapter 2 sort of video later on when I've got it fully upgraded. But so far, I love it. It's fantastic. There's no armor to speak of. You know, you're, what's that, 38.4mm, 44mm. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be good against like early T-34s. But we're not facing early T-34s. So armor's a write-off. Just forget about it. True, there's 3. Now, if you've not played War Thunder before, the insides of tanks are very realistically simulated. You can shoot and take out engines, transmissions, crew members very realistically. 8 Milan missiles, as you can see, stored in here, and a bunch of ammo for the 30mm automatic cannon, quote unquote. This is a very slow rate of fire automatic cannon, as we can see from the 80 shots per minute. And it does only do 53mm of armor penetration. Now, you can make it work when you come up against things like the Object 120, the BMP-1, the BMP-2, Object 907 if somebody's taken out. Very lightly armored things, that's gonna be fine against. And once I unlock the APDS, that gives you 110mm of penetration. So that's gonna be even better against side shots. Now, let's have a look at the general specs. So the cannon can depress to -10 degrees, however the missile is not so limited. Turn off this. The missile, as we'll see later on, it follows the sort of white circle that you get around your aiming reticule. So you can actually have a target that's, say, here, while your crosshair is here, but as long as the white circle's here, the missile will follow that. So it's not so limited. As we said, hull armor in general is garbage, although there is an armor upgrade package which should help against some of the lower tier tanks. Crew of 3, mass 22 tons, Max speed 75 kilometers an hour. It is a fast little tank, even with the stock engine. And it actually seems to go faster in reverse than it does going forward, but I don't know if that's just me. So anyway, overall, I think it's a fantastic little tank. I've not played a huge amount of battles in it, but even with my, well, firstly, my inexperience at these higher tiers and my inexperience with light tanks, I'm still able to get pretty decent results out of it. Like I say, largely because of this missile. Now, a lot of people have said that it doesn't really compare to the BMP2, which was also just introduced in this patch. Slightly lower battle rating on that. But I think the biggest thing is, although this has the similar penetration on a really fast firing autocannon, 550 shots per minute, it doesn't have the advantage when it comes to killing big tanks, like actual main battle tanks. It has this anti-tank missile. What is it called? The 9M113 Conquerors. Doesn't really flow off the tongue as well, but it only gets 4 of them. So I think that the BMP has its advantages, but I think that the Warrior certainly has its own. Much like most. So anyway, I've got a replay lined up of one of the good battles I had in this, so let's cut to that. So here we go on Poland. Now, that sort of that small white ring is actually the where the gun is pointing, and it's actually red on the replay, but it's white normally. Is the ring where I'm pointing the mouse cursor, basically. And like I say, the ATGM will follow that and not the gun sight. Now in this replay, I've got the enemy markers turned on. Bear in mind this is a realistic battle, so you wouldn't normally get that. You just have to rely on the Mark 1 human eye for it. Now this is, I think, within my first 5 battles, and I quickly realized that to be any sort of successful, you have to get on the flanks and sneak about and just generally be cheeky-breeky. So as you can see, I'm moving up the side of the cap here. I get distracted by a helicopter, which is really cool. Not seen any Russian helicopters yet, actually. Seen plenty of AH-1Gs, though. So yeah, I'm just admiring that really quick. So yeah, I get on the flank, and I'm getting ready to... Firstly, I'm going to spot the targets, because although you can't see it on the bottom there, you do actually get a facility where you can spot targets. And that lights them up on the mini-map and gives them a little icon above their tank for the rest of the team. You get some silver lions and RP if they get destroyed as well. But I'm also looking for side shots on targets with the rockets, the Milan missiles. Now, I didn't actually know there was a mouse there at the time. I couldn't see him because of the trees. So unfortunately we don't get killed that, but because of the high penetration, even on these Milan Mark 1s, you would be quite easily able to cut through the front or side of a mouse. So here's my first target, T-54. Now at this point I didn't realize that the ATGM follows the red mark, so I made sure to expose myself a little bit more than I should have to get that missile on him, but it flies true and we kill him in one hit. Now you'll quickly notice through this replay, as with a lot of ATGMs, it is pretty much a one-hit kill. If you get a nice center shot on an enemy tank, you're gonna take it down. Especially if you get a nice shot on the turret as well, because most modern main battle tanks keep all of their crew in the turret. They only have a driver. So if you can kill everyone in that turret, you'll only have the driver left, and it's not enough to keep the tank going, so the tank dies. Now you can see I spot this object 906, but he's behind a fence. Now you gotta remember that this is a heat type shell or projectile, so if it hits anything in the way, it will detonate prematurely. So you can see there I used my cannon. I probably could have kept shooting at him to kill him, but I didn't. I was exposed and I didn't want to risk it, so I shot down the thing that was in front of him and then just launched a missile at him. That's our second kill. Now I noticed this BMP, I think, next. No, it's T-54. You can see here that this is a nice frontal shot on the T-54. It does turn to the side. But you can see because I killed everyone in his turret there, it was just his driver left, so the tank was knocked out. They did for a wee while have a mechanic where you could run a tank on one man. And you'd have to like slowly change him from the driver's seat to the gunner's seat, and then when he was in the gunner's seat you couldn't fire. You couldn't drive, sorry, so... And that kind of sucked, to be totally honest, so... I think that's why they got rid of that. At this point, I'm moving up to around here because I'm pretty sure that there was a BMP up here that was firing rockets at our team. But unfortunately, a wild IS-6 appears and puts a shot through my back. You can see the kind of glitchy shell there. As you can see, my gunner was still alive, but because the commander and the driver were killed, I don't have enough crew members to crew my tank, so my vehicle died. But let's be honest, if you're in a crew of 3 in a tank and two of your comrades just got killed, I wouldn't be staying in that tank. I would be leaving that tank pretty quickly. I mean, that's just me personally. So I have a backup of this vehicle. So I get that spawned in, and I get that taken out. Now I'm being very cautious because obviously that IS-6 is still there, but as you can see I'm still trying to figure out if there's a BMP up there. I'm pretty sure either he wasn't there and I was just imagining things, or he's dead already. I'm just appreciating the sound of that wyvern. They actually, in this latest patch, updated some of the sounds for jets whilst you're on the ground, and they just sound amazing now. The wyvern, of course, being a turboprop-driven aircraft. So I come to the conclusion it's pretty safe, so I'm starting to move back into my flanked position here, along with this Conqueror Mark II. Okay, so now we're back in position. We're going to try and get some more side shots on these enemies trying to advance to take the cap. Now we're in an advantageous position here because we already hold the cap. We don't need to worry about going in and getting it. I'm trying to get eyes on some of these little light tanks and SPGs and stuff like that here, but I just can't find them. There's a Leopard there, but remember, I couldn't see that target above his head, that name above his head, so I didn't know he was there. The Leopard, of course, being so lightly armored, I could actually shoot through him with my autocannon, but to be honest, probably a bit too risky. Not without the APDS shells. Because of course you gotta remember that this AP round belts, it's only every second or third round is an actual armor piercing round. So, we get eyes on this T-54. Now he pulls back because he's getting engaged by that AH-1G. And I'd sort of leave him because I figure that he must be dead. But, as you can tell, the AH-1G crashes and burns and dies. Now, I'm just realizing it's amazing how I didn't see that Object 268. You know, sort of hindsight's 20/20 kind of thing, I guess. But anyway, so I'm looking out for targets here. Nothing very exciting going on right now. Then there's that T-54 again. I almost call it a T-34. And I can just see his turret. And a T-54, like in World of Tanks, has a very good turret. But it's not 540mm thick. So I somehow managed to get the shell straightened out on his gun barrel and penetrate and kill everyone in his turret. That was the luckiest shot ever. And I think it was a bit sort of unfair. As you see, the shell did kind of straighten itself out there, which I don't think is very right. Now I'm trying to turn here, and this is the problem with having a stock engine. My transmission just isn't good enough, and it's not getting any grip to let me turn. But we shall be improving that. Not really as much happening as I thought there was at this point. That M163 is going ham on that ZSU-57 too. Now I try initially to use the autocannon, but it's just taking too long and I'm too exposed again. So I just fire a missile at him, just finish him off with a hull break. And also destroy a tree while I'm at it. Just because. Now there's a Leopard one there. And again, I'm not sure how I didn't see that. Looking at it on a replay. Again, hindsight is 2020, of course. But that's pretty much it for this game. We just run down the enemy team's tickets. They keep fruitlessly attacking the cap, and we end up winning the game. So overall, guys, I reckon that the Warrior is a fantastic vehicle, and it's actually still even in service today with the British Army. So there's a little bit of patriotism there. But anyway, I would fully recommend this vehicle, even for people who are, like I say myself, I'm new to light tanks, especially the new mechanics for them. Ooh, look at that drive sprocket. But anyway, I would really recommend it to anyone that's grinding up the British tree and wonders if it's worth it. Obviously, it's early days yet. I've not unlocked everything on it. I've not aced it out yet. This is just kind of first impressions, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's also my first vehicle that I've ever had with ATGMs on it as well. Now I'm quite fortunate that they're the sort of point and aim ATGMs rather than the WASD sort of ATGMs, so that's quite nice, but they're really good. I really enjoy it. And like I say, they're more or less one-hit kills. The only thing you're going to struggle to one-hit kill is something like an S7. They're quite a big tank and there's quite a lot of crew members in there, so they can be quite difficult. And obviously there's just the one main thing to try and keep in mind, there's that drive sprocket again, is that this launcher is not in line with the gun sight, so to speak. So obviously, as you can see in real life, up there, it's up and to the right. So quite often, if you're shooting or trying to shoot round the side of a building's on your right hand side, you might accidentally hit the building with your ATGM. So you've just got to bear that in mind. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this. This is my first sort of War Thunder video. I've been playing War Thunder for a while, and as I say, it's kind of go-to when I'm feeling for something more realistic. And I have been streaming it on Twitch lately. I'll link it for my Twitch channels in the description, so go and check that out if you'd like to see a bit more. And more of the grind. We're actually getting to it. There's a couple of epic battles in there. Edge of your seat kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, then let me know in the comments whether I should make more. And like and subscribe, obviously. If there's anything that you didn't like about this, again, let me know in the comments. I'm always open to any sort of feedback that you can. Until next time, have a great day.